Rachel stumbles upon a shocking sight at her workplace. Chandler, pantless, and handcuffed to Joanna's office table, which happens to be none other than Rachel's boss. As Chandler desperately begs Rachel to remove the handcuffs, let's find out how this situation unfolds and what Rachel will decide to do with him as we learn some great Spanish vocabulary. The way that this video will work is simple. First, you will watch the video with subtitles, then you will learn the most important vocabulary, expressions, pronunciation, and cultural context, and finally, you will rewatch the video without subtitles. You'll understand almost 100% by the end of this video.
El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera jamás te entró en la cabeza.
Sí me entró en la cabeza, pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera.
¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas, tú mismo te las quitarás.
No puedo quitarme las esposas yo mismo. Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y...
El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera jamás te entró en la cabeza.
¿El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera jamás te entró en la cabeza? ¿El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera, pones en peligro mi carrera, jamás te entró en la cabeza? ¿En la cabeza? Peligro is an adjective that means danger. In Spanish, you can use poner en peligro to express the idea of putting something or someone at risk. For example, estás poniendo en peligro tu salud. You're putting your health at risk.
El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera jamás te entró en la cabeza.
Sí me entró en la cabeza, pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera.
Sí me entró en la cabeza, pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera. Sí me entró en la cabeza. Sí me entró en la cabeza. Pero luego algo pasó. Pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera. Que hizo que se saliera. Algo pasó que hizo que se saliera could be translated as something happened that made it go out. Se saliera is a reflexive form of the verb salir, which means to leave or to go out. In this context, se saliera can be translated as it went out, it slipped out, or it left. For instance, if you said a bad word by accident, you could say, se me salió esa mala palabra.
Sí me entró en la cabeza, pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera.
¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas, tú mismo te las quitarás.
¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas, tú mismo te las quitarás. ¿Sabes qué, Chandler? ¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas. Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas. Tú mismo te las quitarás. Tú mismo te las quitarás. Esposas in this context means handcuffs, of course, like the one that Chandler is currently tied to. But it is also the plural form of the noun wife, which is wives. For instance, Nicolas Cage ha tenido muchas esposas. It's quite funny how this word can have two very distant meanings. But in this case, it's Rachel telling Chandler he has to solve how he's going to remove those handcuffs he retrained himself in.
¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas, tú mismo te las quitarás.
No puedo quitarme las esposas yo mismo.
No puedo quitarme estas esposas yo mismo. No puedo quitarme las esposas yo mismo. No. Puedo quitarme las esposas, Yo mismo. Yo mismo. Quitarme means to remove from me or to take off from me. It's a combination of the verb quitar, which means to remove or to take off, and the reflexive pronoun me, which refers to oneself. Here, given the situation that Chandler is currently caught up in, he clearly can't remove the handcuffs by himself.
No, 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 no. No puedo quitarme las esposas yo mismo. Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler.
Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Gran Chandler. Confundas is the present subjunctive form of the verb confundir, which means to confuse or to mistake. You can use this word in Spanish when expressing doubt, uncertainty, or mixing up something or someone. For example, if someone at the dinner table mixes up the seasonings, you could say, no confundas la sal con el azúcar, which means don't mistake sugar with salt, which is actually a very, very good advice. Here, Chandler is sarcastically telling Rachel that she is certainly mistaking him for some magician that could remove the handcuffs.
Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y...
Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y... Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y... Vamos, debes quitármelas. Debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y tengo frío. Tardar means to take time or to delay. It's often used when talking about the duration of an action or event. In Spanish, it's common to use tardar with a time phrase to indicate how long something takes. For example, tardar varias horas means to take several hours. If you're late for a meeting, you could notify them in advance. Voy a tardar 10 minutos en llegar. But it's better not to be late.
Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y...
¡Ah, Chandler! Está bien, hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez.
Chandler, está bien, hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez. Chandler, está bien, hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez. Chandler, está bien. Chandler, está bien. Hasta aquí. Jamás verás. Hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez. A Joanna otra vez. Hasta aquí translates to up to here. This far or that's it. It's often used to indicate a limit or a stopping point, especially when you're annoyed with someone. You can use this word often in conversations when you want to put limits to something or someone. For example, hasta aquí llega mi paciencia contigo. In the context of the line, Chandler está bien hasta aquí, Rachel emphasizes that she is making a final decision, similar to saying this is it or it ends here in English. And if you search up the expression hasta aquí on Google, you will usually get the literal translation of the phrase like so far, as yet, or so far as. And this can get you lost on how to use this in other contexts. But if you search this phrase on FluentU, you will find this expression is used to mean that's it for stating a limit. And you will find an example video of how this word is used in context.
Hasta aquí el protocolo de la muerte de la reina de Inglaterra, pero ¿qué consecuencias más allá de las protocolarias puede tener su muerte?
That's why I find FluentU to be such an amazing tool. Through FluentU's platform, you can find thousands of authentic videos where all of them include interactive subtitles created by language experts. You will always get the accurate in-context definitions and example videos so you can really master how to use each word in real-life conversations. It also has personalized quizzes and speaking questions, allowing you to personalize your learning experience and practice all the vocab that you have just learned. Best thing is that you have a free 2-week trial right in the description box below. Plus, FluentU is currently having a sale, so there's no better time to try it out.
Chandler, está bien, hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez.
Jamás.
Y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca.
Y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca. Y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca. Y no vendrás. Y no vendrás a esta oficina. A esta oficina. Nunca. Nunca. In this line, y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca, this translates to, and you will never come to this office again. Nunca means never in English. It's used to express that something will not happen again or at any time in the future or has not happened at any time in the past. For example, you might hear someone say something they have never done before. Nunca he visitado París. Or you could use nunca to express something you will never do again. Nunca volveré a comer enchiladas. Could never be me. Rachel demands Chandler to never step foot in the office that she works at ever again.
Y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca.
Bien.
Y regrésame mi Walkman.
Yo.
Y regrésame mi Walkman. Yo. Y regrésame mi Walkman. Yo. Y regrésame mi Walkman. Y regrésame mi Walkman. Yo. Regrésame means give me back, and it's a form of the verb regresar, which means to return or to give back. The me at the end of the word indicates that the speaker is asking for something to be returned to them. In this case, Rachel really wants her Walkman back. In a conversational context, if you would like someone to return a book you borrowed years ago, you could say, regrésame mi libro. A common synonym used for regrésame could also be devuélveme, so it could be instead, devuélveme mi libro.
Y regrésame mi Walkman.
Yo. Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman.
Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman. Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman. Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman. Tu Walkman. Prestaste is the predicated form of the verb prestar in the second singular. Tu form, which translates to you lent or you loaned. In Spanish, it's common to use prestar when talking about temporarily giving something or to someone with the expectation of getting it back. For instance, you can talk about some money you borrowed from your friend and that you will pay back to them. Me prestaste $5. Te los pagaré. Rachel demanded that Chandler return the Walkman he supposedly borrowed from her, to which he replies that she had never lent it to him in the first place. Let's find out who is telling the truth.
Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman.
Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno.
Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno. Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno. Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno. Perdí is the first person past tense of the verb perder, which means to lose. In Spanish, it's common to use this verb when talking about losing something or someone. Like, for example, if you lose your wallet before leaving your house, you could say, perdí mi billetera, which means I lost my wallet. What a bummer. Since Rachel doesn't even remember if she actually lent the Walkman to Chandler or not, she settles that she might have lost it, so she demands he get her a new one. Fair enough, I say.
Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno.
De acuerdo, ya está. Aquí vamos. Excelente.
De acuerdo, ya está. Aquí vamos. Excelente. De acuerdo, ya está. Aquí vamos. Excelente. De acuerdo. De acuerdo. Ya está. Ya está. Aquí vamos. Aquí vamos. Excelente. Excelente. Aquí vamos translates to here we go. It is often used as an exclamation or expression of readiness when starting something. Let's go. Aquí vamos is used the same way as in English to convey a sense of determination or excitement for what will happen next. Aquí vamos, hora del espectáculo, which means here we go, it's showtime. Chandler is basically showing excitement since Rachel finally agreed to removing the handcuffs from him. Let's see what happens next.
De acuerdo, ya está. Aquí vamos. Excelente.
¿Te dolió?
Te dolió translates to did it hurt you, and it's a past tense form of the verb doler, which means to hurt. This phrase is often used to ask someone if they felt pain or discomfort, either physically or emotionally. You can use this phrase if you want to make sure someone is okay.
¿Te dolió?
No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas.
No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas. No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas. No, es que siempre veo. No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas. Hacen así translates to do like this or act in this way. It's a phrase used to describe someone's actions or behavior, in this case, the actors on TV when they take off the handcuffs. In Spanish, hacer means to do or to make, and así means like this or this way. So, hacen así is used when you're describing how someone does something. In this case, Chandler is just rubbing his wrist, imitating what he has seen on TV and movies when people get handcuffs removed because he's just overly dramatic.
No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas. ¡Hola, lindos pantalones!
¡Un momento! ¿Qué le dirás a Joanna?
Un momento, ¿qué le dirás a Joanna? Un momento, ¿qué le dirás a Joanna? Un momento, ¿qué le dirás a Joanna? A Joanna. Un momento translates to one moment or a moment. It's used as an interjection to ask someone to wait or pause for a short period of time. If you have to excuse yourself at an event and go somewhere else, you can politely say, un momento, por favor. But in this situation, it particularly means the expression, wait a minute, which is also a colloquial expression to tell someone to pause or to hold for a short moment. Once Chandler recovers his pants, Rachel tells Chandler to hold on a sec, since she realizes she's unaware what explanation Chandler will give to her boss and his girlfriend about no longer being handcuffed in her office, which Rachel isn't supposed to have the keys to. Oh my god! Un momento, tengo algo especial para ti. A PDF file that you can download from the description box below so you can practice all the vocab you're learning from this video.
¡Un momento! ¿Qué le dirás a Joanna?
¿Sobre qué?
Cuando vea que te fuiste...
Cuando vea que te fuiste, cuando vea que te fuiste, cuando vea que te fuiste, te fuiste means you left or it went away, and is the combination of the pronoun te, you, and the verb fuiste, you went, in its reflexive form. It's a common phrase to indicate that someone went away or left a place or situation. It can either refer to a physical departure or an emotional one from a relationship or a situation. In this case, Rachel says, te fuiste, since Chandler has no longer the handcuffs on and will probably leave. Let's see what he decides to do.
Cuando vea que te fuiste, ella sabrá que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir.
Ella sabrá que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir. Ella sabrá que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir. Ella sabrá que te dejé ir, que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir. Y me va a despedir. Dejé is the first person singular past tense of the verb dejar, which means to leave or to let. In this context, dejé means I let or I left, and it's expressed the action of leaving something or someone behind. Like if you left your phone at home, you could say, dejé mi celular en casa, which means I left my phone at home. What a disaster! Here, Rachel says, te dejé ir, which means that she allowed Chandler to leave by removing his handcuffs, therefore directly implicating her into letting him escape her boss's office.
Ella sabrá que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir.
Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo.
Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo. Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo. Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo. Inventaré algo translates to I will invent something, and inventaré is the past tense of the verb inventar, which means to invent or to create something. In this case, it's used as an expression to say, I will come up with something, or I will make something up. You would usually use this phrase when someone needs to create a solution or idea quickly to something or a particular situation, or when you just have to make up a lie. For example, if you're asked to do something you're not prepared for, you might say, no te preocupes, inventaré algo, which means, don't worry, I'll come up with something. Famous last words.
Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo. La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman.
La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman. La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman. La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman. Tu Walkman. Te pedí translates to I asked you for. It's a combination of the pronoun te, meaning you, and the verb pedir, meaning to ask for. For example, if you needed to remind someone to help you with your homework, you could say, te pedí que me ayudaras con mi tarea de español, which is kind of what I'm doing right now with you guys. Here, Chandler recognizes that he is actually good at lying, because he did ask Rachel to lend him her Walkman. Awkward! By the way, ¿ya te pedí que te suscribieras al canal? If not, don't forget to do so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, like Learn Spanish with Friends, the one with the holiday armadillo versus Santa Claus.
La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman.
No va a creer nada.
No va a creer nada. No va a creer nada. No va a creer. No va a creer nada. No va a creer nada translates to he or she is not going to believe anything. In Spanish, we use double negative constructions with the words no and nada to intensify the negation, unlike English where using a single negative is used. The phrase no vas a creer nada is often used when someone is skeptical or doubtful about someone believing something. It's a way of saying that no matter what evidence or arguments are presented, the person will not be convinced, in this case, Rachel's boss. So, no matter what excuse Chandler might come up with, Rachel is convinced that her boss Joanna will not believe he left her office by himself, So let's see what she decides to do next.
No, no va a creer nada. Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estás.
Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estabas. Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estabas. Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina. Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estabas. Y tengo que volver a ponerte como estabas. In the context of the sentence, tengo que volver a ponerte como estabas means I have to put you back as you were. Como estabas translates to as you were. It's often used to refer to a previous state or condition of a person or thing in the past. The word como means how, and estabas is the past tense of estar, which means to be. Altogether, como estabas can be used to refer to someone's state in a specific moment in the past. It's often used to see if the form of a question, for instance, ¿Cómo estabas ayer? How were you yesterday?
Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estás.
No lo creo. No.
¡Ven!
No.
¡Ven acá!
No. Pues esto es mucho mejor.
Pues esto es mucho mejor. Pues esto es mucho mejor. Pues esto es mucho mejor. Mejor. Mucho mejor translates to much better in English. It's a common phrase used to compare and express that something is significantly better than something else. In this case, because we know Chandler, who's the king of sarcasm, it's completely sarcastic. But however, if you tried a nicer coffee today than the one you had yesterday, you could say, Este café está mucho mejor que el de ayer, which means this coffee is much better than yesterday's without a hint of sarcasm. Or, if you were feeling unwell the day before and someone asked you how you are doing today, in Spanish, you can reply with, ¿Cómo te sientes hoy? Mucho mejor, which translates to, how do you feel today? Much better. After Chandler and Rachel get into this struggle where Rachel is trying to put him back to where he was with the handcuffs and Chandler is trying to escape, Rachel manages to leave him handcuffed on the file cabinet, to which Chandler sarcastically replies with, much better spot, and still has no pants.
El hecho de que pones en peligro mi carrera jamás te entró en la cabeza.
Sí me entró en la cabeza, pero luego algo pasó que hizo que se saliera.
¿Sabes qué, Chandler? Tú mismo te pusiste las esposas, tú mismo te las quitarás.
No. No puedo quitarme las esposas yo mismo. Tal vez me confundas con el super gran Chandler. Vamos, debes quitármelas. Se puede tardar varias horas y tengo frío y...
Chandler, está bien, hasta aquí. Jamás verás a Joanna otra vez.
Jamás.
Y no vendrás a esta oficina nunca.
Bien.
Y regrésame mi Walkman.
Yo... Jamás me prestaste tu Walkman.
Pues si lo perdí, me compras uno.
De acuerdo, ya está. Aquí vamos. Excelente.
¿Te dolió?
No, es que siempre veo que hacen así cuando les quitan las esposas. ¡Hola, lindos pantalones!
Un momento. ¿Qué le dirás a Joanna?
¿Sobre qué?
Cuando vea que te fuiste, ella sabrá que te dejé ir y que estuve aquí y me va a despedir.
Ya inventaré algo porque soy bueno mintiendo. La verdad sí te pedí tu Walkman.
No, no va a creer nada. Sabrá que tengo una llave de su oficina y tengo que volver a ponerte como estás.
No lo creo. No.
¡Ven!
No.
¡Ven acá!
No. Pues esto es mucho mejor.
Rachel is definitely a character full of surprises. Let's keep learning more Spanish vocab as she steals the spotlight in these iconic scenes from Friends. ¡Vamos!